In this video, we're gonna talk about the first 24 hours of life of a newborn, because I find that parents have so many high expectations on this tiny little human being in the first day of life, and I want you to be prepared to what to expect for real. Let's go! Welcome to my channel. If this is the first video that you watch, my name is Ilenia and I'm a midwife with a passion for education and empowerment during your pregnancy, birth and postpartum journey. If you're new to the channel, or if you like this type of videos, if you're planning a pregnancy or if you are expecting now, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Let's talk about what happens when your baby is just freshly born. Congratulations, you brought this baby earthside, and baby should be put straight skin to skin with you. Either if you have given birth vaginally or by a cesarean section, ask for early and unhurried skin to skin with your baby, so that most of the surface of your body is in contact with the skin of the newborn. Skin to skin promotes bonding, promotes thermoregulation, and really stimulates all the natural instinctual behavior that a newborn will have when put chest to chest with you. One of the first things that your baby is gonna start to do is to root for the breast and start to look around and go towards the breast. In fact, your nipple will produce colostrum. Colostrum smells like the amniotic fluid, and baby's gonna be attracted to that smell and to your areola, that during pregnancy changes color and becomes even darker in order to let the baby able to see it and to kind of crawl to the breast. So your baby is gonna have a very strong instinct to latch in the first hour or two after birth, and it's important that you promote and stimulate this instinct. Baby needs to be left at the breast for as long as he or she wants for the first feed. And don't be scared, like baby can be latched even for an hour or two, and that's absolutely beautiful. You don't know how much your breastfeeding journey depends on your first feed. If your first feed is successful, if baby is latched well during the first feed, and he or she is allowed to stay at the breast for as long as baby wants, your breastfeeding journey is gonna be so much easier that you won't even believe how much it depends on the first feed. After baby has fed at the breast, and again it can feed up to 2 hours, baby's gonna be kind of sleepy from then, and that's absolutely normal. Like you're gonna be exhausted for labor, but your baby is tired too, has done the labor as well, and even if you have had an elective section, baby still spent a lot of time trying to understand how to regulate the circulation from the intrauterine life to the extrauterine life, to try to adjust all the things that are going on outside the extrauterine life. So babies are gonna be tired regardless of what kind of birth they had, but especially if you had a very long and tiring labor with hours and hours of contractions. So absolutely normal that baby sleeps in the first day of life. At the same time though, continuing to talk about breastfeeding, it's important that baby feeds regularly, because we want your breast to be stimulated in order to produce more milk and to let the milk come in usually on day 2, 3 or 4. So kind of expect baby to feed 3-4 times in the first 24 hours, including the first feed, that again it's supposed to be quite long. So we don't want to wake up babies, every 2 to 3 hours. But again, if baby has been sleeping for a few hours and you think that is ready to kind of feed again, then we want to stimulate them to wake them up. And how do we do it? By strip them down, undress them, and change their nappy. Usually these things are enough to wake a baby. You'll see baby starting to move their head around, to put the hands in their mouth, and to kind of sticking the tongue out. Those are all early feeding cues that your baby is giving you to let you understand that, yes, I'm starting to wake up mommy and I want to be fed. If baby is still asleep after you change the nappy and you strip him or her down, then again, do skin to skin. Put baby skin to your chest for half an hour, and you'll see that baby will be stimulated and encouraged to go to the breast by the heat that your body produces and by the smell of your breast. So skin to skin is always great to do before a feed, especially in the first day of life. Some babies are very, very tired and lethargic, and regardless of how much you do, they still don't wake up, even if you've done all these measures that I've talked to you about. So what do you do in this case? You do hand express. So you manually stimulate your breast and you collect the drops of colostrum that come out of your breast. I've done a full video on how to hand express in pregnancy, but the same techniques applies also during the postpartum journey. So I'll put the link up here so you can check it out and make sure you master this technique in case that your baby is very sleepy, or even if your baby latches but you just want to give an extra top up to the baby. Remember, you can never overfeed a baby with breast milk. There is never too much. And don't focus too much on how much to give to your baby. Again, a few meals are okay. The stomach of the baby in the first day of life is like a marble size, so even a few meals are okay, and we consider 3-5 meals of colostrum to be plenty for a feed in the first 24 hours of life. So if baby is very sleepy, again, make sure that you collect as much as colostrum as you can, and then ask your midwife for help so that you can give those precious drops of colostrum in to your baby. Sometimes even a sleepy baby, after you've given a few drops of colostrum, usually gives them the boost of energy necessary to then latch properly to the breast. So it's great to do with a sleepy baby. Skin to skin, hand express, and then give whatever you got to your baby. With breastfeeding, it's so hard to understand how much babies are getting, but I don't want you to be focused on that. You don't need to know and to measure your amount of milk or to pump to know how much baby is getting. You can pump to do other things in order to increase your supply or to give extra top-ups if necessary, but I don't want you to pump to know how much breast milk there is each time. Also, pumping is not even recommended in the first 2 or 3 days of life until you have colostrum. Colostrum, in fact, is so thick and like honey-like in consistencies that the pump will have such a hard time to get it out. So always hand express until you have colostrum. But anyway, how do you check that baby is getting enough? Well, baby needs to wake up for feeds, as I said, and also you have to check the output. So how many pees and poos baby does. The requirement is gonna change according to the days, but in the first 24 hours, a baby is supposed to have 1 wee and 1 poo. And the poo is gonna be called meconium. You'll hear your midwife call it meconium, which is this kind of thick, black, greenish poop that is what baby was producing during the intrauterine life. So as the day goes ahead and your milk consistency is changing, then you'll see the poop becoming more green, then yellow, and then kind of seedy in response to the adjustment that your baby's gut and bowel is doing when your milk changes. But in the first day, 1 poo and 1 pee is sufficient to be sure that baby is getting enough, and there is no other supplement that needs to be given. You're gonna be okay just with those 3-4 feeds and these change of nappy, 1 wee and 1 poo. That's all you need to know that your baby is getting enough. Another very, very important thing to do in the first day of life of a newborn is to keep them warm. In fact, even if for you is very warm, if you're giving birth during summer, or again, if you really feel hot, babies are still gonna have a hard time to thermoregulate their body to the extrauterine temperature. In fact, they've been inside your amniotic fluid that was at 36-37 degrees Celsius for 9 months. So always make sure that they're well wrapped. Always put a layer extra than what you would do for you if they're in the cot, and then a blanket. And always keep them with the hat in the first day. In fact, the head is the biggest part of a newborn body, and it really disperses heat very, very quickly. So make sure that the baby hat is always on, always, also when they are in the cot or when they're feeding with you. If they're skin to skin, then great. Make sure that they're not dressed when they do skin to skin, like they're not half dressed. Always, put them completely skin to skin with you, maybe just the nappy and the hat on, and then put a blanket on top, and baby's gonna regulate the temperature thanks to your temperature. So that's always a great way to increase baby's temperature. Otherwise, put a baby vest, baby grow, and then a blanket on top and the hat. Babies don't need the mittens, really. The hands is their way that they wait and they have to explore the world. So it's fine, even if baby's scratching a little bit themselves, don't worry. Don't put mittens because it really interferes with breastfeeding. So try always to leave the hands free, especially when a baby's feeding. But don't even check the temperature by touching the baby's hands and feet, because they're always gonna be colder than the rest of their body. So always check baby's temperature behind their neck to make sure that they're nice and warm there. And if you have any question, just please ask the midwife on the ward, because she's gonna be able to help you to understand how you need to dress the baby, and if baby needs an extra layer or not. Let's talk now about 2 expectations that the parents really have, especially in the first day of life, that are really not true or accurate to describe what a newborn really does or think in the first day of life. They don't like the cot. They hate the cot. They don't know what it is. They've been surrounded by water, warm water, in an environment that they could reach and touch the end of it simply by stretching the hand or the leg. So would you like to be put into a cot on a flat and cold surface when for 42 weeks all you've known is warm, cozy water, always kind of like rocked and, you know, by your body and the movements of your body? You would hate to be in the cot. Same way, the newborn wants to be held. That's all they know. Your voice, the family voices, your heat, your smell, that's all a newborn knows and all that a newborn wants. So it's absolutely normal for a newborn to want to be held a lot, if not always, during the first day of life. So no need to think that you're spoiling a baby. Always answer to a baby's cries. Don't think that you're spoiling a baby because you're picking them up every time they cry. That's how a baby really talks to us and let us know that there is something going on, which is usually it's either a cuddle, a nappy, or they want to be fed. So these 3 things. But always respond to a newborn cries. There is no way you can spoil a baby in the first days of life, especially in the first 24 hours. Please. Another thing that I too often hear is that, oh my god, my baby has already switched the day with the night. Babies have no idea what is the day and what is the night. They don't even care about the light, they don't even care about the noises. You can see easily all the babies sleeping very profoundly through noises and, you know, the labor ward activity, the hospital activity, or, you know, I see a lot of parents talking with a very low voice around the newborn. Newborns really don't care. They have no idea what's going on. And they have no idea that it's day or night. What they know is that they won't respond to their instinct. And what they're programmed to do is to actually be awake at night because they need to feed at night. The night breastfeeding, in fact, is so important to make sure that your supply stays high, that your milk production increases, and also because the breast milk during the night has different level of hormones or protein and calories than the day breast milk. So that's what nature has programmed to do, and it's normal that a baby wants to feed a lot during the night, especially in the first days of life. So please don't think that baby has wished day with the night, because that's not possible, especially in the first day of life. That's all for this video. I hope that it was helpful in order to let you lower your expectation for this tiny little human being that really just wants to be fed regardless of which way you choose and wants to be held. Once you're able to do these 2 things, your baby will be the happiest baby in this planet. I'll see you next video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Bye bye!